Hello there everyone, it is me Shadow Leon 659 once again, and today I would love to review a movie that I used to love back in the day, but I'm no longer the biggest fan of it, and today's subject of review is Monsters University. For as far as you people know, I am a true big fan of the first Monsters Inc. movie and easily think it's one of Pixar's greatest movies and everything. So yeah, shortly after the movie got made, it was announced that a sequel to it was going to be made and whatnot, but then of course that idea was scrapped, and after years of development hell, they finally decided, hey, let's make it into a prequel movie and whatnot, explaining how Mike and Sully first met each other and whatnot. And so eventually the movie got made. When it first came out, it was a box office success, grossing over $700 million worldwide against its $200 million budget. It was deemed a box office success. However, when reviews first came out, the reviews were mixed, and people called it a huge step down from the first movie. But over the years, it has gained quite a cult following, and many people deem it to be an underrated gem and whatnot. But I'm gonna tell you that I'm not one of those people, and personally I think that the movie could have been far much better. So let's start off with what I liked about the movie before we get on to what I dislike about it. For starters, the animation is a huge step up from the first movie because of, the advanced technology, the more advanced and up-to-date technology and whatnot. And of course, should I say, I really did like that river scene and where Mike Wazowski was having that emotional breakdown. Plus, John Goodman and Billy Crystal, as always, still give solid performances in their respective roles. The chemistry between Mike and Sully is still there, and you believe that the two start off as rivals before eventually becoming friends. The third act of the movie, primarily involving the scare games, was exciting and entertaining. I did love that opening scene of Mike Wazowski as a young boy, and I'll admit, he looks pretty cute and adorable and everything. And of course, should I say the witty banter between the Uzma Kappas was actually pretty great and whatnot. Heck, speaking of, we also do get some great characters like Claire Wheeler, what's his name? Oh yeah, Brock Peterson, Professor Knight, and Dean Hardscrabble. The latter two became fan favorite characters and whatnot. And I did love the message that says, no matter how hard you try in life at a university, you won't always live your dream, and you won't always imagine it from the way it becomes. I'll admit the challenges and the scare games were pretty creative and whatnot, and I did love the music composed by, should I say, Randy Newman and whatnot. Yes, the music is fan-freaking-tastic, and I love that theme. And I did love the nice world building and how it expands on, should I say, the world of Monsters Inc. Something that the first movie was not really able to do because of the hardware limitations back in the day. And I really did love how colorful and vibrant the environments were. And of course, should I say, that ending scene in where they're going through a montage of making their way up the ranks of Monsters Inc. is actually amazing for what it is. And there you go. Those are my positives for the movie. And oh, I also forgot to mention that the movie also has some funny comedy that doesn't feel very out of place and whatnot. And I will admit the comedy did make me laugh, especially the scenes that involved the Uzma Kappas and Art going, I don't want to go back to jail, when they broke into Monsters Inc. and whatnot. However, the movie does have plenty of downsides, and I mean plenty of downsides. Like, for starters, the movie uses way too many cliches from old college movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, to the point that you've watched those movies, you've already seen this one. That's what it feels like. The tone of the movie is pretty mean-spirited towards Mike and whatnot, and you are honest to God telling me that nobody, let alone kids, would be scared of this short, round, one-eyed gremlin man? Honestly, in real life, this guy would be complete nightmare fuel if you were to ask me. I mean, look at some concept art that I've seen on the internet. Oh god, that's so nightmare fuel. Please get it away from me. And of course, should I say, most of the characters just felt like bland stereotypes. The Raw Omega Raws being the worst offenders of all of them, they just felt your antagonistic jerk jocks you've seen a million times in other college movies. And of course, should I say, some of the jokes were pretty hit or miss, and while I did praise the monster designs, some of the monster designs were generic and sometimes palette swaps of other characters. In fact, some characters look less like monsters and more like aliens, for instance. But of course, let me address the biggest elephant in the room, and he so deserves a special mention. And that big elephant in the room is none other than Rando himself. I mean, good god, his villain arc felt so rushed in this movie, and I mean, freaking rushed. I mean, he starts off as being Mike's best friend, the two have decent chemistry with each other and whatnot, then all of a sudden he joins the opposite team with zero build-up and zero development, and after that the movie pretty much just doesn't know what to do with him, as essentially for the rest of the movie he's just pretty much a background character. And in the third and final act, during the final challenge, Sully accidentally causes him to lose and whatnot, getting humiliated in front of everyone, and then he finally becomes a villain, and I'm like, wow, that was just rushed and forced.
That's really dumb. But he's so cool! But that's so dumb!
At this point in time, you could have replaced Randall with any generic character and you would pretty much get the same result. That's really a problem to what I have about this movie. His villain arc just felt so rushed and forced that it's just laughable. And it's as if the writer said, oh shit, we forgot to explain to the audience how Randall became a villain. Sully accidentally humiliates him in front of everyone, and he's now a villain. Seriously, that was the best you can come up with? For real? So anyway, that was my review of Monsters University, a film that I used to love back in the day, but I have now mixed feelings on it as the years go by. So if you're wondering how I'm going to rate this movie, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. So yeah, that's Monsters University for you. A movie that I have mixed feelings on nowadays. So what do you guys think of this movie? Let me know in the comment section down below, and thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content. Shadow Leon 659 signing out. Goodbye, take care, and enjoy.